The Krell armada materialized at the edge of the Sol system like a swarm of metallic locusts, their warships blotting out the stars. 300 vessels strong, each one bristling with plasma cannons and fusion torpedoes that had reduced a dozen civilizations to ash and memory. Commander Elif stood on the bridge of the UTDF Sentinel, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the enemy formation. The soft blue glow illuminated her weathered face, highlighting the scar that ran from her temple to her jaw, a souvenir from the Proxima defense 5 years ago. "They're holding position at the heliopause," reported Jack from the tactical station, his fingers dancing across the haptic interface. No response to our hails. Elif's jaw tightened. The Krell had been warned. Humanity had sent 3 separate transmissions over the past week, each one more explicit than the last. "Turn back, leave this system. You don't understand what you're dealing with." The warnings had been met with silence, then mockery. The Krell ambassador's final transmission had been broadcast across all channels. Primitives who crawled from their gravity well only centuries ago presumed to threaten the Krell dominion? "We have conquered empires that spanned galaxies before your species discovered fire. Open a channel," Elif commanded. "All frequencies." The communications officer nodded and Elif leaned forward, her voice steady and clear. "Krell Fleet, this is Commander Elif of the United Terran Defense Force. You have entered human-controlled space without authorization. You have ignored our repeated warnings. This is your final opportunity to withdraw peacefully." She paused, letting the weight of her words sink in.
"If you proceed, you will be engaging not just humanity, but the full weight of what we've become."
"We don't want this fight, but if you force our hand, you will learn why every species that has ever pushed us to the brink has come to regret it." Static crackled through the speakers, then a guttural laugh. "Pathetic mammals. Your 13 warships against our 300? We will glass your homeworld and sell your survivors as slaves." The channel cut off. Jack looked up from his console, his young face pale but determined. "Orders, Commander?" Elif closed her eyes for a brief moment, thinking of her daughter on Earth, of the billions of lives hanging in the balance. She thought of the Krell's victims, the civilizations erased from existence because they couldn't fight back effectively enough. Humanity could fight back. The question was whether the Krell would survive learning that lesson. "Activate Protocol Omega," she said quietly. "All ships." Jack's fingers hesitated for only a heartbeat before he entered the command sequence. Around the Sol system, on moons and asteroids, on hidden platforms and camouflaged stations, ancient weapons stirred to life. The Krell fleet began its advance, confident and overwhelming. They had seen humanity's warships, the handful of vessels that patrolled near Earth, fought pirates, and occasionally skirmished with raiders. Primitive fusion drives, kinetic weapons, basic energy shields, nothing that could stand against Krell firepower. They didn't know about the defense grid. They didn't know that humanity had spent the last 50 years since first contact preparing for exactly this scenario. Every asteroid mined wasn't just for resources. It was a potential weapons platform. Every deep space station wasn't just for research, it was a hidden fortress. Every seemingly peaceful satellite was a wolf in sheep's clothing. And they certainly didn't know about the relativistic kill vehicles. The first RKV struck the Krell flagship at 98% light speed. The tungsten rod, barely larger than a telephone pole, had been accelerated through a series of gravity assists and mass driver boosts for the past 6 days, timed perfectly for this moment. When it hit, the kinetic energy release was equivalent to 300 megatons. The flagship simply ceased to exist, vaporized along with the 6 ships unfortunate enough to be in formation nearby. Before the Krell could react, 17 more RKVs found their marks. At relativistic speeds, there was no dodging, no defense. The laws of physics became humanity's weapons. "Second wave launching," Jack reported, his voice tight with barely suppressed emotion. "Stellar collector charging. Predicted full power in 90 seconds. The Krell fleet broke formation, scattering like startled fish, but they were too late and too slow. Humanity's defense network had been designed by minds that understood warfare at the quantum and stellar level. The Krell were powerful, but they fought conventionally. Humans fought to win. The stellar collector, a Dyson swarm of millions of satellites orbiting the sun, focused its accumulated energy into a coherent beam of concentrated stellar fury. The lance of superheated plasma speared through the Krell fleet's center, boiling ships from the inside out. Within 8 minutes of the engagement beginning, 212 Krell warships had been destroyed. The remaining vessels attempted to retreat, but the mines they'd blindly jumped past on their way in activated now, detonating in a cascade of antimatter fury. Only 43 ships made it to the system's edge. Alif opened a channel once more. Krell fleet, power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. You will be repatriated to your home system with a message for your dominion. Her voice was ice. Humanity tried to warn you. We gave you every chance to leave. Remember that when you tell your leaders what happened here. She turned to Jack, seeing her own exhaustion reflected in his eyes. Stand down, Protocol Omega. Dispatch rescue teams for survivors. They attacked us first, Jack said quietly. No one can say we didn't try. Alif nodded, staring at the debris field that had been an unstoppable armada minutes before. That's the tragedy of it all. We tried to warn them. We always try to warn them. She walked to the viewport, looking out at the stars. Somewhere out there, other species were watching, learning, recalculating their assessments of humanity. Good, she thought. Let them learn. Let them understand what humans are capable of when pushed. And let them make the choice the Krell didn't, to leave peacefully when warned. Because humanity would always offer that choice first, but they would only offer it once.